we're just going to hit record. There it is. I'm not
Cool,
doing
there it is.
intros and any of that bullshit this time. We're just going to have some fun. I'm super pumped. It's been like 2 months since I've been able to record anything. It's been a weird, crazy time. It's good to be back on that Sober Guy podcast. I got two of my best homies, Mark Serritella, Dave Buckner here joining the podcast. What's up, fellas? How are you?
Doing great, actually.
Yes.
What is good, Shane? Glad to be here.
Yeah. I'm glad you both are here. I needed some help with this. It's been a weird last few months. I know everyone's in just this weird state right now. I mean, there's a lot going on. The Jess is like she's a teacher, she's a hairstylist, she's a mom, she's a wife, and we're all cooped up in the home. And man, but at the same time, there's a lot of shit to be grateful for. I just got out of a meeting that was awesome. So just trying to stay plugged in, get back on the sober guy tip, keeping me dialed in. What's up with you two? Let's start with Mark, dude. What's up, Mark? How are you? What's going on with you?
Well, you know that I'm a big fan of your podcast. That's where we met, is me listening to it. So I saw you weren't doing it. I was like, well, if there's gonna be any new one, I guess I'll just go on. It's proactive.
Hell yeah.
But, yeah, I'm good. We're talking recovery. How's my life, or how's recovery, or both?
Whatever you want, man.
Okay, so
yeah.
Life is good. Life is good down here in LA. The last time you were down here, my walls were horrible. Now I painted my place, and I just
nice.
finished.
I see it looks nice in the background.
I know. Thanks. I just finished today. I'm stoked. And I'm 44 years old. I got a selfie ring, so things are good, dude.
Hey,
there's production budget, and so you saw my Rambo podcast. I was excited how that came out.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm sorry. First Blood, Rambo, First Blood Part 2.
Yes, and then, I never noticed the jackhammering guy. Also,
no, yeah, totally.
The two guys running a jackhammer in the film. Hilarious.
Just it seems like that movie, they just went with take one every single time. Like, we got it, it's fine. Just go. That's what it really felt like. Is like so I've been thinking about that for about 2 years, about doing it, and because we watched it. I watched that in I had an old place down in West LA in 2007. My ex-fiance left me, and I had a friend move into the living room, and we were smoking weed, and this is when it was the fun. You know what I'm saying? It was fun with problems. So this was the funnier, and it came on, and we could not stop laughing. And I was like, this is so silly and stupid, but I love this movie somehow still. And then we saw it like 10 years later, and we were sober. I was like, was this movie funny, or were we just baked? And we watched it. We couldn't stop laughing again. So I've been thinking about breaking down that movie for years. And with the pandemic, I got to it. And
it's a lot of work.
It was a lot, much work.
Watching it, and I was like, holy, this is a lot. This is a lot of like post-production and going back and forth and stuff. It was good.
I taught myself
where can I watch this? Where can I watch this?
I'll text it to you.
You gotta send me the link, Serritella.
I will. It's on my website too. markscomedy.com. If you see up top, it says Rambo 2 breakdown, or it says Loch Ness Monster podcast. I'm sorry, because it's called the Loch Ness Monster podcast. But then, I taught myself how to edit to do that, and that saved me like $2,000. And so with this pandemic, right now I'm at month 2 or so of doing really well. I started antidepressant on Thanksgiving called Wellbutrin, and I take this drug now, Trexone, and it's been really working, thank God. Because the program itself just wasn't working for me. I needed something else. I just did. I didn't know that. So
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, and it's got me definitely focused and doing stuff and calmer.
Yeah. I'm gonna put too, for everyone listening, I'll put those links in the show notes so you can go there, find them too, website, that stuff too. And I just want to point out, and then I'm gonna pass over to Dave here. It's crazy how, when you and I met, Mark, and I mentioned this to you before, I kind of you kind of reached out to me, and I felt like I was kind of helping you along the way, dude. And then boom, like that's the beauty of like fellowship, friendship, recovery, whatever you want to call it, encompass it all together. Then all of a sudden you see like, man, I don't know, something's kind of up with Shane, like probably I should probably hit him up. And you hit me up, and you and Dave both kind of helped get me plugged back in, in these last few weeks and stuff. And so I appreciate that, bro. Same with you, Dave Buckner. I'm happy to see your face. You're out in Idaho now. Really good to have you back on the podcast too, and just shoot the shit. So what's up with you, man? What's going on?
Oh, bro. Well, aside from moving out of California, which I've never lived. I mean, I've been on tour, you know, I've been on tour for like 10, 12 years, whatever. And so I've been everywhere, you know, I've been in Helsinki, Finland in the middle of winter. So cold's nothing, you know, anything new to me.
Yeah.
But it is different when it's, you know, right outside your house and, you know, you got to like kind of like deal with all the day-to-day of just, you know, you're not just like walking from a tour bus to a venue to a hotel or whatever like that. I actually have to like take the trash out, get the mail, like all the mundane shit that we do, you know, and in the snow. So it's a little different, but it's really cool. Like we're really stoked on the place we found up here. And yeah, man, I mean, we're just rocking and rolling up here. So oddly enough, man, last time I was on your podcast, I know I talked a lot about working this program called Refuge Recovery, which is a Buddhist-based, you know, mindfulness meditation thing. And since then, right around March of last year, I kind of came back into working a different program of recovery. So I'm still working a program. I mean, I'm working this program, which by some of the rules of the program, I'm not allowed to disclose what it is, but I go to these meetings and, you know, and do these 12 things that, you know, we do in this program. And so, but, you know, I don't want to break the rules. So I don't want to, you know, say the name, you know, out loud. But yeah, I kind of came back into it. I'm doing a lot of it over Zoom, which is a total blessing because it's just, I mean, dude, one of the blessings of this whole screwed up situation of COVID and the pandemic and all that, and the lockdowns and not being able to leave the house is that it opened up this whole new world, which has strengthened my program of recovery tenfold. And I'm just that much stronger now in it. And I consider myself blessed, and I'm definitely grateful that, you know, because I could have went the other way. I mean, like, you know, COVID's a fucking bum out. Lockdowns are a bum out, dude. You're stuck in your house with all your family. You can't go anywhere. And, you know, a lot of people are going the other direction, man. You know, turning towards booze and substances, or, you know, damaging, destructive behaviors. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing the exact opposite of that. So, you know, that's just kind of where I'm at with it. And yeah, man, I'm happy to be here with you hanging out, dude. It's been a long time.
I know it has. And I think that that's a part of it too, just like staying connected. There's like the fellowship aspect of it. Like the meeting I was in earlier, someone brought up the triangle, you know, and so I'll just kind of leave it at that. But unity, service, and recovery, right? Like the three kind of pillars of that. And like sometimes I jump, like I'll have one and then the other one's a little off, or vice versa. Or so I feel like, man, I'm really thankful for like the fellowship part of it and the unity part of it. But sometimes like the spiritual part of it is like, just, man, it can jack my ass up sometimes. And I think even one of the things I brought up to you guys the other day, I said, man, like the spiritual relapse component of it, right? Like I had hella people hitting me up, like, and hitting my wife up too. Oh man, did Shane relapse? Like, is he cool? I noticed he's not doing a podcast. Like, what's going on? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just taking a break, you know. I'm fucking good. And it really hit me in the last couple of days. Like, I've really been going through, I think, like some sort of like spiritual like relapse in a sense, where I just been like, it's kind of a case of the fuck it's. There's some anger involved. Some, like Mark, you mentioned it's being cooped up, you know. Dave, I think you said the same thing. I don't know, man. It's a crazy time. We got to stay vigilant in this time. I think that's a good word, like showing up to meetings, like staying plugged in. And it's been hard. Like there was someone else too, who just said, you know, and I said this 2 weeks ago, I just don't really fucking feel like being here tonight, but I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Have you been there before too, though? Like you could feel me on that, right?
Oh man, you know, like it's when I don't want to do it. That's the exact, you know, moment that I realize that that's when I need to do it. Like I need to go to a meeting, you know, I need to do something for my recovery, either reach out to a brother, you know what I mean? And you know what I'm talking about, Mark. You know, we float around the same kind of circles, you know, Shane, like we're all kind of connected and stuff like that. So it's, you know, sometimes it's just about getting out of your head, picking up that phone. And sometimes that phone weighs like 10,000 pounds. You know what I mean? Sometimes somebody's calling you just to check in and see how you're doing. And I don't want to answer the phone. Like I'm in, I go through, I call it my side hustle, but I have like a component to my condition, which is kind of like a bipolar depressive thing happening. And I don't medicate for it. I meditate through it, so that's how I make it manageable for me. But that being said, I still go through, periods of time, and usually they only last about 1 or 2 days, where I just, it's that isolating behavior, you know what I mean? And it's something that I have to battle through. And, but normally if someone calls me and I'm not picking up the phone, I'm usually in a heavy, like meditative, state, right? I'm usually doing that work, you know what I mean? That inner work, that shadow work, that kind of thing. That is hugely important to not only my overall mental health, but my recovery as well. I mean, because it's all tied in together,
Yep.
Chances are I'm taking a dump if you call an item. Just for the record. Sorry, Mark. What were you going to say?
Probability. Yeah,
I believe that. I believe that, Shane.
I'd answer for you, Dave, or you, Mark. Let's see. I'm taking a shit.
Yeah. I think too with this pandemic, like a lot of people is like, it's your circumstance, how you feel about it. Because Shane, you got a lot of beings living in your house. Well, here I got me and my dog and my roommate, and I needed a break. Your life was full steam ahead. Mine was still kind of ping-ponging a lot. And so I think the pandemic, I was able to slow down a little bit. But with yours and with the kids and everything in there, and it's regional and all that stuff, I could see where different thing. I mean, clearly I want to be out of the house. We have a show planned this weekend for the first time in a while. I did a couple in November in this lady's backyard. It's really nice. It's actually set up for it. Sounds, I mean, in normal times, you're like, this is what? It's like the stage is in a garage and her backyard slopes up, and then we had 80 chairs, and it's between two, I guess you would say mansions. It was like between two mansions that were falling apart. So I don't know, but we sold them out, but now we're finally LA's opening again. So we have shows this weekend I'm stoked about. But we're talking about, Dave, you're talking about isolating, because yesterday I has a little bit of funk. And let's say in the program of recovery, there's a certain large book with certain stories in the back. I opened up the so I opened up the book and I read a story in the back, and I really related to it because I was kind of getting in an isolated funk for about an hour or two. And that's not a good place for me to go, or anyone to go actually. But I opened it up, and as soon as I got done with the story, and we were in a meeting of sorts yesterday, Shane, and we read that story. Actually, I selected it for a meeting that I run in a certain program thing. But then I started doing that today. It's just these stories, and then I just got another one where the guy who ran that meeting was in last night, and he started today with reading a story in the back. So just relating to people, I think that gets me out of the isolation for sure.
Yeah, hell yeah, because the isolation thing, man, is a big one. Like getting, even in, like you said, there's kids and my wife and everyone's here. I still find myself isolating, even if I know this may be a dumb example, but even like, okay, I was mentioning I'm putting in floors in my daughter's room in the evening times, and I started on over the weekend, and like even that is like isolating time for me where I can go in there and shut the doors and put some, but it's at the same time, it can be good. It just kind of depends on like where my mind is at. So I have to try to put, like, I was listening to like Tool the whole time, right? And
Nice.
like and I love Tool, you know what I'm saying? But I have to be careful on what I'm putting in, because it gets me kind of in like an angry mood, versus, I don't know if you guys like Charlie Crockett. Like I've been on some Charlie Crockett, it's like kind of, he's got that old school country vibe. I think he's from Texas. But he's a little more chill, a little more mellow, a little more Jess hates it, so I turn it up really loud sometimes. turn it up. But I just got to be careful, man, because I can isolate too, and I can be around people and still isolate. I guess that was the point I was trying to make, because it's just all up in this weird ass cranium up here that doesn't stop running sometimes,
Yeah, I think that feeling alone in a room full of people, that's sort of the nature of the the condition of people like us. You know what I mean? It's because
Uh-huh.
I identify with that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like, you know, I could be in a party, you know, full of people get together. Not that there's any of those going on right now because
Yeah.
because of the pandemic. But I mean, you know, we're doing the responsible thing and staying home when we can, you know, only going out for certain things. I'm wearing my mask and doing all the things, you know what I mean? And but yeah, when looking back on, you know, when I do remember like what it was like to hang around other people in person, those feelings are absolutely real for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. In the end too, I was just like, or, you know, just like alone in a room full of people. But then I would just take whatever I got and just like ran back to my room. Like I would leave where I was and go back to my place, so I'd have it to myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want anyone around because then they might want
Oh,
what
right.
they might want what I had. you go,
Dude,
Oh yeah.
why
Oh,
would I
I've
want to
been there.
go?
I've been there too, brother. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
fucking Smeagol, dude. You snuck like just leave me alone. I'm gonna go back to my garage and just sit in my garage and do all the drugs by myself because I'm not sharing.
Why would I ruin this with having a girl around? You know, that's what I guess that's the problem part. I guess the resolution of the story. How about that?
I want to mention one thing. So I've kind of switched a few things up just with like the format of the podcast, whatever you want to call it. I really want to, is that kind of like, oh, I almost feel like it's almost like a relaunch, kind of a new chapter, I guess is probably a better way to put it. I put on the website, if you go to thatsoberguy.com, there's a little button on there where you can record a voicemail. So anybody can go on there now and ask a question. You can leave a comment, and then what it does, I think it gives like you like 90 seconds, and it'll email me the voicemail. And then like if we do this again, or like if I have guests on or whoever, you know what I mean, we can go through and listen to some of those questions or some of those thoughts or some of those funny comments, and we can kind of you know, give our thoughts on it. We can share a little bit if we relate to it. Hopefully maybe there's someone, I think I said this a long time ago, just leave me a message that just says fuck you, and I would just love that. It'd just be awesome. You know? But yeah, I just wanted to mention that if you want to leave a voicemail on there, feel free. At soberguy.com as we kind of move forward with that. But you guys think that's a good idea too? I just want to invite, I want people to get, and it's hard to answer the emails sometimes. I don't like writing. Sometimes it's like, you know, it's always great to hear people's voice, then you can kind of get involved and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, because sometimes like no, go ahead.
No, I insist. You first.
No, you go.
Because, you know, when you have to read, and sometimes you're like, you gotta pull out your glasses, like, let me see what it says right here. These glasses.
I like those glasses.
There's no lenses. There's no lenses.
We call those reality specs. We call those reality specs, don't we, back in the day? Yep. We used to do that with you remember those little black glasses you get at the liquor store called Mad Dogs, and they had colored lenses?
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah, we used to pop those out and just wear them like with the plastic frames. Reality specs. Boom.
That reminds me of Rick Vaughn from Major League. Remember the black glasses?
Of course, yeah.
Where they markers kind of look like his too. Great movie. But yeah, man, it's
Shane. I think that's a great idea with the voicemails, and then you can use them as, you know, as a bit, you know, like fodder for what to talk about during the show, or, you know, just something, you know, like, oh, I'm going to play a voicemail from so and so, and you know, that's cool, man. You never know what you're going to get, and the cool thing about that is you can screen them out, so you're not just, you know, you can screen all the crazy, you know what I mean?
Well, we might even have to play some of the crazy ones too. I'm sure we'll get some.
Of course.
We're all crazy, right? We're all a little bit crazy together. I think that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, hell yeah. So what else is going on, man? I love this kind of just off the cuff, just good combo. It's just good. Man, dude, I gotta say, I don't mean to sound cheesy and shit right now, but like my spirit feels like happy right now, bro, and just it feels like it's refreshed a little bit and like replenished, and it's 10 o'clock at night on, you know, a weeknight right now, and I don't know, man. There's something about just being with homies and you know, being able to talk, I think too, man. That's been huge. I can't wait to go to an in-person meeting again sometime too, gotta say, or a concert or a comedy show. Like, I mean, anything, you know what I mean? Like, that's going to be great too.
Yeah, I think that too. Like you text when you like today I got out of the meeting and I at the end of this meeting I have a commitment. And then I got your text and go, oh, and I was like, remember I left you a message, go, I'm physically tired. But as
Yeah.
soon as I was like, this is the night we're doing, I go, all right, let's rock. And then instantly your energy comes back and your physical, because I was only physically tired from a couple long walks with the dog and doing in the house, and I've been exercising a lot. But then as soon as we were ready, I go, oh, I'm fine. You know, and plus, you know, Bucky, what it's like, and you do, Shane, you play these shows at night, so you can. This is the time of night I usually come alive anyway.
Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock, especially with stand up. It's like I'm most mentally sharp at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
You know, so it's good.
Dude, I'm right there with you, dude. It's I think being in rock and roll, like I chose the perfect life path for my, like, even like growing up all during school, right? I hated getting up for school. Like I would never really mentally wake up till around lunchtime anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that I ended up doing something for my career that was like, you know, I don't have to get up till noon anyway, like, you know, shuffle off the bus, go to sound check, and then like, you know, the gigs, you know, either we're playing between 9 or 11 at night, you know what I mean? And that was perfect, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm a night owl, you know, by nature, man. And so I hear that totally. And you know what I dig about this whole thing is that like we're just sitting here hanging out, just like three homies, you know what I mean? And I know Shane from Vacaville, like we hang out in person, but I've actually never hung out with you, Mark. But like we're like some of the tightest homies, you know what I mean? Like and we've gotten to know each other just over the last few months or so. And
it feels like we know each other.
Zoom. Yeah,
you know. I know that I listened to your guys' podcast too when you had Bucky on the first time, because once you said Bucky, because you were on the first time talking about refuge recovery. I remember that, and I think were you talking about it in Santa Monica at one point as well? Was there a thing? Because was there one that was happening in Santa Monica, or did I look it up online after you talked about it? And there's one in Santa Monica.
That could have been it, because I was going to like there's a meeting down in Venice at the main center, like down there, and I think there's one like
that was it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like off of Lincoln Boulevard right down there.
Yes.
Didn't we go? We went to one. When you and I went down there. That's right. I just remembered that. Was that in the Venice one, or which one was that?
Yeah, that was it. Yep. Yeah, right off of Lincoln, right there at the center.
Didn't Mary help us? Mary was in there.
Oh, that was. We went to the Against the Stream spot on Sunset. We met Mary from the back of the Refuge book. Yeah, that was cool, man.
Yeah, that was cool.
So that book, they also have a book in Refuge, that program, and it also has stories in the back of the book, similar to other programs of recovery that have stories in the back of their book. But it's very similar.
I really enjoyed reading some of Noah's books, and one of the things that always stood out is how, and I don't know that he necessarily coined this or whatever. He's just the first person I heard say it, but when he talks about how the mind, he refers to it as the mind. It's separate. It's like a separate entity versus my heart versus my spirit, because my mind, or the mind, is just so crazy weird and just jacked up thinking sometimes. And then we start taking shit personal, right? Why are you having those thoughts? Why are you acting like, why'd you say that? Why'd you hella critical of ourselves? That's one thing that's always stuck with me. Even through all, through everything, I guess. And I kind of fall back on that. And then I get that quick reminder, oh, wait a minute. You don't need to take that shit so personal, Raymer. Like and I can kind of give myself a little more grace. Whereas before I would just beat the shit out of myself for days, weeks, however, it would ruin my whole time. You know what I'm saying? That's a good little tool.
It is cool, man. It is really cool. That's one of the blessings of developing a practice of mindfulness meditation, and is that you can witness the mind and the body doing what they do, especially when you're in a seated, meditation position, and like, your body's acting up, you got like a twinge here, and like this is sore and that, and then the brain's doing like its thing, and being able to focus your attention on the awareness, like, I am the awareness that is witnessing the mind and its thoughts. And because I am who I am, a lot of those thoughts are fucked up and broken. Like I have a broken brain, right? So but the blessing of it is that I could sit back and witness like those things and sort of like appreciate them for what they are, but I don't have to own them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, there it goes. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's that one. Oh yeah. That was fucked up. Cool, man. Cool story, bro. And it's like, and becoming that awareness behind it all. is really what it's all about.
I like an analogy for that. And I was just kind of visualizing it as you were doing that too. It's like my daughter and I were talking about this one day. It's like a sushi boat, or like you know, when you go to all you can eat sushi and they got the boat, the round, like you have different types of sushi you can pick, right? You can pick this one, you can pick that one. One of them's shitty, maybe one of them's like great, you love it. It's kind of the same thing like with our thoughts. We were talking about like those thoughts are running through my mind, you know what I mean? And they're constantly going. I can like pick out ones to focus on that are healthy and that are good, you know, and then I can kind of learn to let the shitty ones like just go by, you know what I mean? I don't have to take them out and try them out and like see, and then they jack me all up and stuff, you know. It was, I don't know, it was much better when I was talking with my daughter.
No, that's easier said than done though. You're right.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to do, and it's just to be mindful of in itself, you know.
Yes. Yeah, because usually once I get on a certain thought of a subject of you know, let's say drinking or using, as soon as that enters, it's just a matter of time. It's either a fast moving train or a slow moving train, and it's done. But this last 68 days, and with this medication I've been taking, I can get out of it so much quick. I've only had 4 cravings in those days, and I can get out of it now. Like, it's not, I can do what you just said, where I go, okay, that was a little thought I had. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, where that was not the case before. And Shane, you've seen me in action. You know, famously, I was supposed to do this podcast. I had you down to LA and I didn't show up to it. And
Okay,
I had 125 days at the time.
quick. We've never shared this story before. You brought it up. Can we share it really quick?
Of course. Now I can, because I'm over it now, because I'm here. But I perform at the Hollywood Improv all the time, and I brought you down because I was a big fan of your show. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. But then I was going to have to declare to the world that I had this problem in a building where I do a lot of my business.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I can't do this. I don't think I can do this. And I was like, how can I get out of this? And the only thing I could think of was the best way to get out of a sober podcast was not to be sober that day. And you had come in tonight to dinner the night before. And I was like, well, and I also had a backup though. I had Joe, my partner, who has 22 years. So I was like, but I think I played it small, where I was like, okay, I got to back up. And Joe was my partner on my shows, and he's so trustworthy and so, like, you know, he's like a brother to me. And he knows that building so well that but I know that if that happened, that I would never do that now. Do you know what I'm saying? And not just because of the last thing, but it was like, I just wasn't ready at all to talk about that. Because remember, I had done your podcast and we kind of alluded to stuff, but I was like, I wouldn't really allude to, you know, it's like, it's a process, you know. It's tough because, you know, it's not that there's plenty of comedians that are fucked up, but it's just like, it was one thing, it was something about bring it to my business, you know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Where now I could do that, even though I set it up on the back end with the managers. It's a whole nother thing to record it and put it out there. And but now I feel a lot more solid with it. And it's this medication has done for me too, is it's had me the ability to be focused and have one thought, because I haven't felt this well about myself since I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. And not because I have low self-esteem. You never be around me like, you got low self-esteem or you're depressed. But I feel like my brain is working correctly. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Dude, I'm proud of you, bro. Like 68 days. I know it's been, you know, there's been ups and downs. And like one of the things that's so great about that story, number one, it's funny, right? Now we can look back and it's like, it really, it's a testament to a couple things. Like, people are going to be ready when they're ready. Like, you're never going to you're not going to be able to tell, like, I have people that I love that are still out. Like, I'm not going to be able to tell them that you need to do this and you need to do that. And you're going to, this is what, like, people need to figure this shit out on their own. I'm still figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? Every day is a new day. But also what it did, it's really a testament to the program, to staying connected, learning. Is like, back in the day, I might have been like, man, fuck that guy, Mark. What an asshole. How could he do that to me? And me. I really, you know, in the moment, it was like, oh shit, like, what am I going to do? And we worked it out, but I was never like angry at you about it. I was never like, man, fuck him. Like, I really truly understood, just because I go through the same shit myself. Like, that could happen to anybody. Like, you know, it is what it, you know, it was.
I had you in good hands too. And I had you in good hands, and I knew that. But the thing is, what I would do this time is, like, I would not have you in good hands. I would just do it myself, because I had a backup plan. I should not have had that. And then, yeah, exactly. But also, you know, with this thing, I was saying about it's the best I felt since a 7 or 8. On December 7th, I had this really, I was probably like 2 weeks into it, and I had a really intense dream about my childhood best friend, Jeff. And I was at the park the next day with Rio, park I go to every morning over to my house. I think we went, Shane. And I was like, God, that's so weird that you had such an intense dream about Jeff, who was my childhood best friend from 3 until 13. I lost my virginity to him. No, I'm kidding. That's not true. No, that's not true. And so I go, why would you think about Jeff like that? And I go, oh shit, it's December 8th. It's his birthday. And I text him. I go, I have his phone. I go, happy birthday. Am I wrong? He goes, what the fuck? He goes, great memory. I go, dude, I dreamt about you last night. Then we just kicked off a whole thing of, because we talk like every 3 years or 4 years, but his phone number's in my phone still. And so that was cool. That's it.
No, that's good too, to have, like, when you have those homies that you ain't talked to in months, years, and you have those people in your life that you can just pick right back up. It's like you talked to him yesterday. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's far and few some days. What about you?
Oh, and he's sober too now. He has 2 years.
Oh, nice.
That's it. I didn't know that though. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
dope, dude.
All right, I have a question. Are we recording this? Are we recording the video as well as the audio to throw up? Because I look good today. Look at that.
Yeah. Real good.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't really thought. I mean, I'm recording both. I hadn't really thought about. I mean, I usually always just put it out audio.
Yeah.
I think you should do both. I got the selfie light on for a reason.
Right? Yeah. Mark's got a selfie light on. Like I'm looking all like.
Yeah, you look great.
Rugged right now. I'm looking like.
I created a new, because, and I don't want to get into all this shit right now, but I don't have any social media, like, as far as like kind of the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
I thought you blocked me, by the way. That's when I reached out. I
just fucking deleted everything. I couldn't get anymore. But I did start a That Sober Guy podcast Telegram channel. So it's got its own channel. I can post shit in there. People can comment and do all that kind of stuff too. So that'll be up in the show notes, and maybe we can just post the video up in there. I can share it with you guys if you want to post.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But,
oh man, Shane, please loop me in with that, because I just got Telegram, so I want to. Yeah. I don't know how it all works. I have no idea.
Learning
what
too.
caveman in a spaceship with this thing. So I've Instagram was easy to figure out. I haven't had a Facebook or a Twitter in forever, but
Instagram's pretty easy.
Instagram was my last holdout, of like, and I'm still, as we were talking about earlier, I'm doing the Bernie memes. So, but I was taking a break. I had like 3 weeks off. I was just chilling, dude. Like,
you were off for a while before that, right?
Even before that. Yeah, I was off for a good few months, like maybe six months or something like that. And then how I got back in was, last year was the 20th anniversary of my former band's first major label record. So it was Papa Roach Infest 20-year anniversary, and we were doing a special event, which I was part of. And so it was kind of important for me to get back on my socials to kind of like promote that and like be looped in on all that. And then I just kind of hung around, all summer and with everything happening, it was a good way to.
How did that feel, bro? 20 years. Like, I mean, I remember when that shit dropped, and it was, those are for me, those were some of the funnest times as like a young man, like dumb kid, like just rocking out at Three Oaks, dude. And then like, I don't know, dude, those were some fun. 20 years, bro. Is that hard to believe it went by that fast?
Dude, it really is, man. Cause it just makes me think like, so when I was a kid, like, 12 years old, and I was just getting into like, I mean, don't take it the wrong way. I'm not trying to draw a comparison, but like, let's say when I was getting into like Zeppelin or like the Doors or, like that my early education in music and like learning about all this rock. And that was only like, 15, 17 years back, from my age at the time. Right. So I look back now, I'm like, oh shit, like our first record, it was a huge record. Like that's 20 years ago. Like we're way beyond that now. We're like 3, 4, 5 years past like the music I was listening to that I thought was like quote unquote classic rock. You know what I mean? And now here I am with this record that's like 20 years old, and it's just.
I think I know why.
I feel a little bit old, but
I know. I think I know why things don't feel like it was that long. It is our cell phones. Because it's ended boredom. Because 17 years back then felt like 75 years now. You remember being so fucking bored in the dentist office? You'd be like in the lobby, like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself. If someone circled the highlights magazine, hidden pictures, you'd like month was ruined. But now with our phones, we're constantly distracted. Time is moving faster because 20 years does not. I graduated college 20 years ago. Well, no, I graduated in 98, 22 years ago. It does not feel like that's half my life now I think about it. From 76 to 22, from what am I trying to say? From 76 to 98 does not feel like 98 to 2020. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
there's so much stuff to do. Even now, like I come home from, I can't even consume all the good things on TV that I want to watch. Basketball. I have Sling, HBO, Netflix, Amazon Prime, my cell phone. I can ride the back of my dog to the park. No, but there's so much to do now. Time just moves quicker, I feel like.
I feel like everyone's like attention spans are hella short too. Like I know mine is short. It's really hard to focus on stuff because you're right. There's so much stuff.
Mhm.
There's so many different things that we're distracted by or that we're doing. I'm a fan of Sling, by the way, too. I have the $30 plus the $10 sports package.
Yes, of course.
Hockey. I've been digging on some hockey lately, man. I'm so glad there's something on. I kind of gave up on football, and I still love the A's, man, but they just piss me off. Like every year they let me down, and then all this crazy stuff with the season was weird this year. So I've been kind of numbing out on a little bit of hockey, which has been good to disconnect. But
do you have a squad?
Right, so much stuff. What's that?
Yeah, there's so much. Do you have a team in hockey?
You know what, man? Okay, Bay Area, Northern California, you would think, yeah, Sharks fan. Like, I mean, I don't mind the Sharks. Cash and I was walking him to school actually a couple weeks ago. And he was going to school at one point a few weeks ago. Totally different story. But I said, hey, bro, so let's watch some hockey tonight, man. He's like, okay, Dad, that sounds fun. And I'm like, I don't really like care for the Sharks. Like, I don't know. They're just like, whatever. Not really like huge not hating on San Jose, folks in San Jose. Love you guys, whatever. But I was like, why don't we just pick a team? Do you want to pick the team? And he's like, yeah, Dad. And I said, all right, well, I love Christmas Vacation and Chevy Chase and Clark Griswold. Like, he was a huge Blackhawks fan. So why don't we do the Blackhawks? I like Boston. Like, Boston's like old school, like they're hella tough. So the Boston Bruins or the Sharks. And he's like, how about the Boston Bruins, Dad? I go, okay, cool. We're Boston Bruins fans. So
that's awesome.
I've been some Boston, man. Yeah,
that's my team when I was a little kid because I'm from Albany. I was a huge Bruins fan. Cam Neely, Ray Bork. Actually, you saw it in the Loch Ness Monster podcast.
Yes, that's right.
I was like, one of the Cam Neely, Ray Bork. Yeah, totally.
They kick some ass, man. They're hard. I just like that old school kind of hockey. So, yeah, man.
Mark, what was that? You had a banner hanging up in your house, right? That you just took down when you repainted. Yeah. What was that again?
That was for the Loch Ness Monster podcast with Bobby D.
Austin?
We don't deep dive, we deep dive. This week we're breaking down 1985 Oscar winner for Best Picture, Rambo First Blood Part 2, my favorite fucking movie of all time. So it's for the Loch Ness Monster podcast. I've been thinking about it for literally 2 years, but then like with the pandemic, I just slowed down. Actually, hold on, let me get this thing. You guys talk. I'll be right back. I'll show you this thing.
I'm bringing this shit up right now. I'm trying to find it. Let's see here,
bro. Let's see. By the time this airs, I don't know when it's gonna air, but so as far as my concurrent time, we have oh shit! Look at that.
Have you seen Rambo?
Wow,
2?
The Tin Man. Look at this guy.
Have you seen Rambo 2?
Wow.
You remember the arrows in Rambo 2? The golden those arrows that explode the tips.
Yeah.
So I had to paint my face gold, and I was like, I'm the fucking. I mean, it was out there. You know what I'm talking about? Did you see Rambo 2, Buggy? Because you're staring at me. Okay.
No, that's where he goes. Is that where he goes to Afghanistan?
No. He goes to
like
he's in Vietnam, and he shoots the
Vietnam.
arrows, and they explode like a village or a thing. So
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I remember that.
Mud. He's all muddy and shit, and they straighten him up.
So that's that. Hold on.
I'm finding it right now. That way I can put it in. Oh, you got COVID King in here too. That's a good one too. Damn, doing
the
good.
medication's working.
Oh, you can't hear me, huh? You can't.
I made that out of paper mache, but it took forever to get everything kind of together. Really, what took forever is the editing.
I just came across COVID too. Because I'm on your YouTube channel right now. I want to post. I get the links and put it on here. But the COVID King, where the hell did it go now?
Oh yeah.
Wait. What's the backstory? Like you wore that for the whole podcast?
I interview myself because I go. I'm just this character Bobby D, And I go, we got an exclusive interview right now with the explosive arrow tip. And this guy comes in and he's all fucked up. The arrow is from the 80s and he's just clearly, he has a little bit of white powder. He's clearly on blow. And
Oh, Jesus.
I don't want to ruin anything. I'll send you the link.
Send me that link, dude. I got to see this, man. This is great.
Cool.
I'm adding it right now to the show notes. So it will be in here too for anyone listening.
And the COVID thing. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say, because we were talking. I was telling Shane, we were just talking about. Damn, I forgot. Oh, Brady's back in the Super Bowl, right, with the Bucks.
Yeah.
Who are either of you excited about that or at all? I mean, the Patriots didn't make it, I guess. And who is the other team? Did they figure out? Do they have both teams for the game yet, or just is it just Bucks and Chiefs? Great. See, so now everyone knows just how into sports I am not. So like I have no idea what's going on. I watch the Super Bowl like every year with my dad, and just as an excuse to like see the commercials and just hang out with my dad and eat chicken wings. And that's basically it, dude. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Same here. That's probably, I didn't even know that I didn't even realize the Super Bowl was on or that it was coming up or who the hell was in it at that. But I'm with you too. I don't know if we'll do, usually my in-laws will do something, but my mother-in-law make a shitload of food. I'm down for that. Just kicking it and eating a bunch of grub. I have not been paying attention to any football. But I feel like it kind of like hockey for me served its purpose to just like kind of check out a little bit and just like relax. And then plus you get to see dudes like I had it on in the background. My daughter got her TV taken away for talking back. And so I moved it out in my office out here. So I have it right here. Yeah. So I'll put it on while I'm working and I got hockey in the background. Dude, there was like 4 fights the other day. It was like a noon game or something. Just dudes just going at it. Good time.
Well, you know what? Rodney Dangerfield made up that expression the other day. I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Right.
That's Rodney Dangerfield.
Classic.
He's made up a bunch of things that we just say. If you look up Rodney Dangerfield quotes, he's made up a bunch of cliches that we just say now, and you don't realize like, that's Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah.
Who's your favorite comedian, Mark? If you had to pick.
Okay, so I got this thing where I go, because I wrote this article one time. I go, who do I think is the greatest besides the greatest? Because obviously you can go Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle, George Carlin, Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah. So who do I think is the greatest besides those people that everyone basically names? Is probably Patton Oswalt. I like him a lot. He has every special, every joke to me hits. And Sebastian Maniscalco. Yeah. But Sebastian's huge now. I mean, he sold out, I think, Madison Square Garden 5 nights in a row. Yeah. And he was in that movie. What's that? Al Pacino, the Irishman. Sebastian. Yeah. Sebastian's Crazy Joe Davolo. Do you remember him?
That was a dope movie.
Yeah. And I've known him since he was just a host on the weekends at the Comedy Store La Jolla. Because I started in La Jolla, and when I would bartend, you could see the stage from the bar. It was pretty cool. Very cool, actually. And he was one of the few guys I could watch every single set, even when he was hosting for the whole weekend. And I'd be like, same joke. I know how it's going to go. And it was still funny. Remember the Ross bit? He's like, the other day I was shopping at Ross, and he takes it and he throws it. And he goes,
place.
Yeah, I know. He goes, I bought a box of underwear. It was wrapped up in tape. I opened it up. It was a box of forks.
Holy crap.
So, yeah.
You just reminded me, you said George Carlin too. Like so I'm not going any further than just all this shit that's going on in the world right now, right? Regardless of anyone's opinions or whatever. I don't give a fuck. I love the one thing George Carlin said about everything. He goes, it's a big fucking club and you ain't in it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's one of my favorites. And then I grew up, I remember renting at Hollywood Video back in the day. Actually one of my first jobs, by the way, too. I wore the red bow tie and I tried to wear it. I had the fucking red cummerbund. I had to help people with their movies, but we would check out and then not return Eddie Murphy Delirious, the VHS dude, and in the red leather. That was one of my favorites too.
How about you, Buckner?
Yeah, dude. Like classic comedians or who like current comedians?
Both.
Dude, obviously, Eddie Murphy, Delirious and Raw. Like, oh my God, as a kid. And then, so like, I knew about Eddie Murphy before I even knew about Richard Pryor. Like, I only knew Richard Pryor from like, he was in movies with Gene Wilder.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that was
no evil.
If anyone knows who that is, you know what I mean? Like, remember those old buddy movies they used to make?
Of course.
And, so then it took me, you know, I just happened to get like my hands on a cassette of like Delirious, and I was like, oh my god, like what is this? He's like talking such like it's so dirty, holy crap, you know what I mean? And then I found out about Pryor. I'm like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like mind blown. I'm like, that's the same guy from the movie with Willy Wonka? Like that's crazy. But obviously Carlin, you know, right? You know, all the ones you name, and the Chappelle is obviously one of like the current, like he's like GOAT, right? You know, but let's see, like Hedberg, you know what I mean? Mitch Hedberg.
I just want a big Hedberg run, yeah.
Man, like Hedberg was just the thing about Hedberg that really, really did it for me was that he, in such a simple way, like just flipped your reality. Like basically like just his bits, the way he would structure his bits, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like I don't have a girlfriend. I just know a chick who would be really mad if she heard me say that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like his whole take on like what comedy is and like what it is, like, you know, like taking thing like, you know, what is it? Appliance Naming Institute, you know, is another bit I love. And then like how many bathrooms you have in your house, you know what I mean? All that. My son's getting some ice out of the thing, out of the fridge. But Donnell Rawlings, dude, you know,
I know Donnell.
Dude,
No,
dude,
Donnell. Yeah.
He's dude, I saw him, like we just went to the Comedy Store a couple years. Was that Raymer? Did we go out? Was that me and you that went? No. I forget who I was with.
Yeah.
But we went, and he just like showed up and like unannounced and like did a set and like murdered, bro.
Yeah,
like I had no idea. He kills, dude.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously, I mean, there's like this comedian, Mark Serritella, you know, maybe heard, you know what I'm saying?
Kind of funny.
No, it's cool, man. I got a couple of friends, like, you know, that are comedians, like you, and Craig Gass is a good friend of mine. And,
I
you know,
love Craig.
You guys are all just, I love having like funny motherfucker ass friends, dude. Like, it's always, you know, it's always good for a laugh, dude. And you guys just to hear your whole, like to know you guys, like as, you know, as homies, and just to get, you know, to be more familiar with like how, like the thought process, you know what I mean? Like how you guys process shit and like how that comes out, how I like all this trash goes in and then it, you know, metamorphosizes into comedy, some funny shit that you can like share with people. It's
Well,
like mad respect.
Yeah. At first, when people are like, how do you write comedy? And I don't do it.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Hey, come here, bud. You guys want to say hi?
Of
Say hi to
course,
my
of
kid?
course. What up, dude? What up?
You can't. Oh,
Hey, what's going on, dude?
That's Bond.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't mind if I'm using your game headphones right now?
Those are
sick,
bro.
And by the way, you're on a podcast right now, officially. Nice. So look for it on YouTube.
Yeah. Tight.
How old is he?
He's 11.
Cool.
Yeah, he's 11.
What's he into? What is an 11-year into nowadays?
Oh man, dude, like, I mean, obviously, like he plays a lot on his PS4. He hangs out with his friends on Discord.
What is that? See, that's what I'm talking about. That's the thing. Like, as a guy, like, without having what's Discord? I don't even know what that even is.
Discord is like another social media app type thing, and I got to really watch that shit because like it could get creepy, but like,
right,
he's only allowed on private servers where it's like only his friends, like a small network of friends, and they don't let. It's not. There's no like public. He's not allowed on any public servers, and I'm always like hawking his stuff to see, you know, like. I hate to be like that guy. Like I'm like his own. I'm his own personal FBI guy, his own CIA agent. You know, right there. I'm like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? Who are you talking to? You know, and making sure.
That's good. It's good.
All cool.
But
that, and then what else did he do? He was in the School of Rock band, and he's a amazing singer. Like, just FYI, like he kills it, dude. I'll send you some videos of him doing. I have some videos of his Black Sabbath show that they did at School of Rock. Yeah, he's got pipes, dude. It's weird because like dad's a drummer, and then he ends up singing. And it's funny because Jacoby from Papa Roach, Jacoby Shaddix, he's a singer, and his son Jagger is a drummer.
That's
so
funny.
like it's like you know what I mean.
Because he reminded me of Jacoby because of his hair. When he brought him in, I go, oh, he looks like Jacoby. That's funny. Cool.
Yeah. Totally lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something. I must have not.
You were asking. We were saying about writing too earlier. At first, when I first wrote, I go, whatever makes you angry will make the crowd laugh because they can relate. Even the tiniest thing, whatever that may be. And then, you know, I don't write from that. I still can access that, but I'm not as angry as I used to be because I'm older. You have less testosterone. But at first, it was all like, people were like, you're like an angry Seinfeld. I'm like, yeah, I'm very angry guy. I like the Mitch Hedberg joke, by the way, too. He goes, people ask if you used to do drugs. I used to, but I still do too. Or no, do you do drugs? I used to, but I don't. I'm blowing it. Whatever the fuck.
I know the bit though, dude.
Yeah. He goes. Someone goes, "Would you like a frozen banana?" You go, "Would you like a frozen banana?" You go, "No, I'd like a regular banana." So later. So yes. I don't
know. Those one-liners.
Or what about wait? What about his bit where he goes, oh God, what's the thing about wine? Where he goes, he does this whole flip on wine where he's like, oh God, I can't remember. About grapes, how they like, fuck it, I can't remember, but he turns it into like, he's like, I don't want an apple because eventually it'll be a core. He's like, you don't turn something down because of what it's going to be later. I think he's talking about getting fucked up, actually.
Yeah,
he's talking about, why do you drink wine? Because like, aren't you like worried about the hangover? Don't you hate the hangover? He's like, yeah, but the first part and the middle part are great. He's like, funny. I don't not eat apples because at the end they're going to be a core. He's like, you know, like.
So yeah, do you guys have? Do you guys
this is why I'm not a comedian, though. FYI.
I just blew his joke, and I've heard it 100 times. Do you guys have Sirius Radio, XM Sirius Radio at all?
I do in my car.
Because they have right now. If you go on the Sirius app or in your car, and you search Mitch Hedberg, they have a 2-hour audio documentary of his life and with all his friends talking. I've listened to it 3 times already. So if you type into the search bar Mitch Hedberg, let me see if it's still on here. Because it was really interesting. Mitch Hedberg. Mitch Hedberg on tape. A Hedberg oral history. It's on Sirius, and it is. Yeah, it's 2 hours and 6 minutes, all about his life and how he wrote his jokes, and his friends talking about him. So if you're a Hedberg fan, that's definitely.
I just found it for you too. I saw this wino. He was eating grapes. It's like, dude, you have to wait. Is that the one you're talking about?
That's the first. Yeah, that's one. And then he transitions from that to talking about how he drinks. But then people ask him like, "Don't you hate the hangover?" And then it's a whole continuum of jokes. But dude, Hedberg was like, so like Carlin, you know what I mean? Like Carlin was so great at like, especially later on, like his later stuff, just like exposing like reality for the absurdity that it is, right? And like Hedberg did all that with like half the footwork. Like within like 3 lines, he could just poke a hole right through your reality and be like, boom, you know what I mean? And that's what I appreciate about Hedberg, because he was just so simple. Like everything was so clean. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Why is it that artists are so, just self-destructive and, have issues with addiction? And
because you're taught it's going to be fun.
I'm just looking at Mitch Hedberg's death, right? He OD'd, multiple drug toxicity. I'm looking at the obituary or area. Former cocaine and heroin. He was found dead in a hotel room at the Westminster Hotel in Livingston, New Jersey. Let's see, formally announced April 1st, 2005. So I didn't know this. Some were led to believe it was an April Fool's joke because people thought that he would do shit like that. But dude, it's so crazy, like how many artists that we've lost to addiction, you know what I mean? And obviously just people in general, how many people we've lost to it, but it's fucked up, you know? And it's crazy. I don't know why it haunts artists, especially.
You can also sleep it off too. The thing is, like, a lot of jobs you got to be there at 8 a.m. So there's a lot of jobs that ask you to go home. If you're drunk, they're like, you got to go home, and you show up to a comedy show drunk, and they're like, all right, drink a coffee and then have a Jack and Coke and get the fuck up there.
Damn.
And people will
same with rock and roll too, man. It's like, I mean, like you could do basically anything you fucking want as long as as long as you are on fire, like on stage, you know what I mean?
Selling
tickets, you're not bringing, and selling tickets. But like, if any of those, there's like that saying, the show must go on. It's kind of unwritten law, I think, in the industry. It's like, you could do anything you want as long as you are bringing it, as long as you deliver on stage, you know what I mean? And that's unlike many other jobs. Like, not your average 9-to-5 job is going to allow you to show up fucked up to work, you know what I mean? But in the entertainment industry, it's almost, it's almost encouraged, you know what I mean? In a weird way. Yeah. Cause I think just as artists, as creative people, like we're I think we're just, you know, kind of sensitive to that, more sensitive to that kind of thing. And I don't know about you, Mark, or whatever, but I know like a lot of my homies and me personally, like almost every bit of art that I've ever created was created out of pain. Like that's how I deal with pain, is transmuting all the negative shit that's happened to me in my life and bringing it out as, you know, artistic self-expression. And but the other side of that coin is that when you're not doing that, you're left with like, you know, the other 23 hours a day, or like when you're not, you know, when you're not creating or making music or creating your craft. And we have all these feelings that we don't know how to deal with. And what sometimes there's like trauma from like childhood or just like everyday kind of things. And so a lot of times, you know, that's when the substances come in, and like the drinking. And then not to mention like when you're a rock star, dude, like you go, like you're going to gig, you're playing a gig every night, and everyone who's hanging out with you backstage, like that's like their one big night, maybe for the week, maybe for the month, maybe for the year. So they want to go hard. They want to drink as much as they can, do all the drugs, whatever. But like for me, it was just Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like every night, like the bar is getting set so high. Like we want to party so hard because we're hanging out with you. And it's like, you know, I don't know.
It's further and further, huh? Every night.
I might be rationalizing.
No, you're not. Some of my craziest nights were on Mondays, because you come off the road and then the Comedy Store Monday night, and Tuesday night is where you go up. And so Monday night, I would do usually at the Comedy Store Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, or the Improv Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the road on the weekends. So that Monday I had the night off, but I go to the Comedy Store, and it was just a disaster from there. And also, you just can't wait. You know, when you're watching it, you go, I can't wait to be this crazy. I couldn't wait to have a problem. And then I didn't realize it was gonna be so hard to get out of. Because in the movie, it's just like a little 10-minute, like there's like, it's up and there's a little downfall, it's a little downfall, and then it goes back up. That little downfall, you're like, oh shit, this is taking me years to get out of this, you know? And you think it's gonna be this little like, there's gonna be like cameras around you and shit. You don't think you're gonna be laying on the couch with your muscles atrophying, you know? You know, you go, oh look at my arm, this is not my arm anymore. This is like the arm of a 13-year-old.
Who was it that I mentioned? I've been listening to Tool lately, and there's a sample. I don't know what album it was on. It was on Shuffle, but there's a sample of a comedian. I don't know if it was Carlin. I can't remember who it was, but he's talking about. He goes, he's talking about how you think drugs and alcohol are bad and this and that, and he goes, I want you to go grab every fucking album that you own that's great music and throw it in the trash, because every one of them, they were high as shit on. He's just talking about how, because I do think there's some truth. I'm not advocating doing drugs.
Of course, no.
I'm just saying there is something, especially for me back in the day, about marijuana that brought out like a certain creative element to it. You know what I mean? And I think I do believe that. I don't, you know,
that was the fun with problems, because it was fun. I was talking about the thing that was so many years ago now, when I had that, was laughing about the Rambo First Blood Part 2. That was in 2007, you know. So it's like, now it's like, it's not 2007 anymore. I don't know if you guys know.
Well, you're talking
you're talking like 13 years on, 14 years.
2007. You thought about doing it? Is that what you said? Or I missed that.
No, that's when I first saw the movie, and was like, it came on TV and we couldn't stop laughing about how corny it was. We were still enjoying it and enjoy Sylvester Stallone and Rambo. Who doesn't like Rambo? But every scene was so over the top and corny that we couldn't stop laughing. And then we saw it again 10 years later, and we were like, was that just because we were stoned? And then we watched it sober, and it was still as funny. So that was
And by the way, Shane, that was Bill Hicks.
Oh, it was Bill Hicks.
Yes, Bill Hicks. Also one of my favorites. He's like one of my all-time favorites. Dude, go. But I mean, I think just to touch on that topic, it's you know, drugs and alcohol. I think as far as the creative process is concerned, it's, you know, there is something to be said for it. But like at first, like it works, like it opens those channels. Like it's kind of like a quick shot to access those parts of our brain that are like, you know, kind of, you know, our inhibitions are lowered. You know, like maybe our thought, like the doors are open. You know, when you're high on whatever it is that you're getting high on, dude, it's like you're thinking in a different headspace. So a lot of times, like, you know, it's easier to access that creative thing, but it's just a shortcut, really. And then at a certain point, like it stops working. That's not worth
it. Yeah, it's not worth it.
At least for me. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because like, you know, I drank and did drugs for a long time, and I made records writing music. I never like recorded albums on drugs, but I did, well, maybe a couple songs. There was a couple, but for the most part, like when I was, working like in the studio, like I was sober, like, cause I wanted to be on top of my game. But when I was creating, like, yeah, I was like, like tipping the bottle or, doing whatever other things that I had access to. And it did work. Like for a while it worked, you know what I mean? But then when it stopped working, it really stopped working. And that's when the consequence, and there, not to say that there wasn't consequences the whole time, because when I look back on it, there were times, nights when, oh shit, like, I fell and like busted my lip open, or like XYZ happened, or I got in a fight with this person, or, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Right. But we kind of like, glaze over those things until you really start focusing on them, and you realize like, oh shit, like there's been these like really sort of dire consequences that have come with the use of drugs and alcohol. And when it stops working and there's just the negative consequences left, then you're really in trouble. And then at a certain point, at least for me, like it literally came down to a matter of life or death.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, and it's, you kind of get to this point where it's like, damn, dude, like I can't live, like can't live and I can't die. You know what I mean? And that's when you really are forced to like look at yourself and like go, all right, something needs to change. And nowadays, like I realize, like I can access the same parts of my brain for the creative process that I did when I was using or drinking, but it's through meditation, it's through like breath work, it's through like heavy, like this kind of thing. But it's a much there's a lot more work involved. You have to put the work in. I mean, and you can get those doors to pop open, man. And then you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, whatever. It's just that drugs were the shortcut. It's the easy way.
Yeah.
It's the easy way to get that door open. And then, but they stop working. Yeah.
Yeah. And long term, if the end game is success, long term, you'll be much more successful doing it in a happy way. Like maybe there's some explosive things, and then, you can be real creative, right? And then you can be real creative. And if you're completely out of control, you're going to get to the gig and you're going to blow it, because everyone's going to fucking want to be around you,
Oh, absolutely.
Something's going to happen at the gig that you're not going to be invited back to the next one. So long-term success, it doesn't work.
I remember you saying that too, that you felt like your comedy was a lot better when you were sober. Like,
for sure.
On point, you were more sharp.
Yeah,
like you,
definitely.
Obviously now you're kind of sacrificing maybe some of the social anxiety, or if there's other stuff going on there, I don't know. Like,
I don't have that. It's specifically comedy too, because you have to
like loosen up a little bit, right?
You have to talk into a microphone. It's so, and you're alone. So it's like drinking. Drinking always happened after for me, for the most part. Like, of course, a couple times I slipped into before. I mean, always, but for the most part, really early on, because I especially you hear just your voice amplified, and the first thing that happens to you when you're drinking is you're slurring. So even if I'm just slurring a little bit, I can hear it. Now I'm too self-conscious to perform, but it's.
Do you remember your first joke, Mark?
No, but I know one I still do in my set, which is my third joke, which is the fake boobs one, where I'm like, girls, stick with the boobs you've got. I've never taken off a girl's shirt and been like, these just won't do. You put your shirt on and get the hell out of here. I go, every time I'm ecstatic, even if there's only one, as long as it's a big one. Yeah, that joke is the third joke. I remember where I wrote that joke in San Diego in 1998 at the pool. There's this girl at the pool. I was like, look at those fucking boobs. Then I was like, wait a second, what? You don't even need those. And I still did that joke. I did that joke the other night.
No way.
Yeah, I've done it on TV. I've done it on Comedy Central once, but that was on Adam Devine's house party, and probably about 400,000 people see that. So I go, all right, that ain't enough people for me to get rid of this joke out of my act. This is one of my better jokes. Plus, it's one of those ones I can just do. If I needed the set to go up like right away, I can go right into that material.
You were on Workaholics at one point too? Were you?
No, I was on Adam Devine's house party.
Okay, maybe I'm getting the two mixed up.
Yeah, they're similar shows. They're both Adam Devine things. And I did, and then I did that. I don't know. I did that joke on my Access Gotham Comedy Live. It's a New York City show, and that's because it's Mark Cuban's channel. That had like 250,000. So I'd say 675,000 people on TV have seen that joke, and I go, not enough to retire it. Once it's on the Tonight Show, then I'll do it, and then I'll get rid of it.
Well, what about this, Mark? I mean, like, I don't know what it's like for other comics see the same kind of thing as like musicians do, but do certain jokes like you're saying, like that joke got, was like, exposed to, a bit, at 600,000, that's a lot of people, right? So you figure if any of those people come to your show, like, wouldn't that almost like be like, it could be like one of your like greatest hits or whatever. Like that's a hit joke. I'm going to do that joke. I mean, like there's certain songs that we would play. We're like, that's a fuck, we got to play the hits. You know what I mean? Where I think some comedians always want to do like new material all the time, but then there's the ones who go like, no, dude, I have some like hit jokes that I can like, it's like, you got to play the hits,
Jim Gaffigan has his hot pocket joke and he does it at the end. He'll come out and do it as the encore. Jim Gaffigan's hot pocket, what I'm talking about? So but he comes out and he does his hits after the set. He comes back out and does them. Now, I'm not comparing myself to Jim Gaffigan. And also there's gonna be plenty of crowd. Let's say people have seen that fake boobs joke before, who've come to the show at the Hollywood Improv or something, but there's gonna be 80% of the audience who haven't heard it before, and laughter is contagious. So they'll laugh at people's reaction to like, oh, here comes the joke, and I'm gonna laugh at the thing. So it's and plus you can, there's an old stage trick for theater in New York City. Those people that do the same show again and again, sometimes 3 times a day, is you can switch up the movements and make it feel fresh. Like just the movements, like which way you're facing or things like that. And
kind of like jamming on a song, dude. It's crazy, man. Yeah. We could take the same song and like flip it a certain way, like, or we'd leave like certain areas of like certain parts of songs like open to like jamming, so that we're like, all right, for these like 16 bars, like we're gonna do, it's just open, so like let's just catch what I'm doing, you know what I mean? And like, see, dude, it's show business, baby. What's up?
I was gonna say, no, that's funny because that's the same thing. Like, you can freestyle a set, whether you're doing music, whether you're doing comedy, right? And it's a different art, it's a different form versus writing, or versus kind of when you're more meticulous about things. And for like, even when I would just mess around on the guitar, or even sometimes doing podcasts and stuff, it's so fun just to just get off and just riff, you know what I mean, and just go, just talk, or we do whatever. That it's two totally different things though.
Yeah, I know with my set, at one point I was really written at one point because I could not talk to the crowd. I was so nervous. I didn't talk to an audience member for 7 years. But then at 1 year, I just, instead of writing jokes, I wrote down like on January 1st, I go, what do I want my act to be like? I go, all right, I want to do a mix of written jokes, talk to the crowd, improv, back into my written stuff, jokes, improv, back. So I consciously like wrote out instead of what I wanted my act to look like instead of the jokes themselves.
Yeah.
Because I do a ton of improv on stage now too. Just it keeps me engaged too.
There's one video I saw of you just roasting the shit out of some lady to us. I have to find it. I don't know what it was, but you're definitely pretty damn good at some improv to like roasting shit, dude.
I always, someone's like, I was listening to Brett Ernst and Pete Holmes on Pete Holmes' podcast, and they were talking about crowd work. And I was like, why can I say anything I want to anybody? Like I can say legitimately anything I want. And they go, they can always tell when you're coming from the right place. Like I don't actually think someone is this or that, and so they can tell when you're joking. Some comedians like Mark Maron goes, I can't roast anyone, everyone thinks I'm serious. You go, yeah, you have a very serious face, and it seems like you're not coming from the right place, and you're not, because you're but his written material is so great, but when he starts talking to the crowd, they take him serious because it seems like he's coming from a serious place. But with me, I think they could tell, for the most part, that I'm just fucking around. Or that,
Do you get a lot of hecklers, Mark? I mean, like, how is it like? What's that? Yeah, is that just part? That's just part for the course, right? Like,
they got a heckler. People go, I'll fuck with this guy. We got hecklers. No.
And everyone thinks they're funny, right? Everyone wants to be like funnier than you are on stage.
Yeah, they can try that, but it doesn't go well. Yeah, but yes, for sure. Yeah, I was attacked on stage once recently. I got the video of that up too. Like some drunk kid just jumped on me on stage, and I threw him back in his seat. Just kept performing. It's like, then he got thrown out.
Were you trying to tackle you?
Yeah, he tried to jump on. He was all fucked. I was the first comic too. Him and his friends got thrown out. His friends were like, "Dude, we got thrown out. I was the first comic." He actually apologized to me the next day through because we had a mutual friend, and I was like, "I know what you're doing." I go, "So whatever you're doing, you need to stop," because whatever he was doing, he was drunk and high on coke. And he tried to take the stage by force, and he was so thin that I just picked him up and threw him into his seat up to the stage. He landed perfectly because I wanted to bury him into the table.
Oh yeah.
But this is where it's important to be sober too, because that night I had nothing in me, not one Jack and Coke. Because sometimes I'll have one Jack and Coke and go up. But if you have anything go wrong on stage, even if you had one, then now the managers think you had one, he had two. You're both kind of at fault. But when you're sober, you're ready for. If something goes wrong, it's not going to be your fault. And I remember getting off stage being so thankful that number one, because even if I had one, I probably would have put him through the table. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Roadhouse style, because who doesn't want to do that? You know what I'm saying? But something within me when I took him, I was like, oh, and he did land perfectly into the seat, and yeah, so it was, yes, but yeah, people want to heckle you sometimes, but it's usually most of the time it's a chick drunk on wine, because girls are used to getting attention. So there's like, oh, he got attention, I'm going to take the attention. I think I'm fine. But you're just like, here we go. And it's just like,
so how do you handle, I mean, I know every situation is probably different, or it is different, but how do you handle something like that when you're
keep it playful? Keep it in your mind that you're playful, even if you hate her, you know what I'm saying? Or hate that she's annoying you. You got to be like, and we're being playful here, even if you're calling her a cunt. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
yeah. Take your empty box wine out of here, lady.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Yeah. It's and realizing it's a comedy show, but if they're really disrupting the show, then you handle it in a different way, I guess. But that's what security's for too. Any club that's really worth its weight in salt will have security get rid of someone who's truly disruptive of the show. If they're ruining your
You just reminded me of something. Do you remember? So when we came, I think this was the first time. Maybe it was the second time. I can't remember, but
I think the first time you went to the Comedy Store, because I sent you there after Fleming's, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So we went to the Comedy Store, right? And so we were standing in line. We're having a good time, Jess and I, and we're hanging out, waiting, and we finally get in. And they fucking sit us in the very front row, bro. Like,
were you?
Going, oh shit, man, here we go. I'm like, damn it. And so a couple people, it was a good set too. It was I think it was Annie Letterman was there, Bobby.
Was it Theo Vaughn too that night?
Oh, Theo wasn't there. That would have been awesome to see him. Brady was there though.
Oh, cool. Yeah, of course.
And it was, and so here's, I've never told this story before. Actually, now I think about this is great. So we're sitting there and no one's fucked with us the whole time. Right. And so I'm like, okay, God, thank you. Like, I just want to have, I'm like, you're nervous. I know, God, to hear the
of course.
Shit, whatever. And so we're sitting there and Brady comes up and I can see he's scoping out the front row. And I'm like, gosh,
right.
And so he comes up and he's like, yeah, what are you doing, bud? I don't even remember exactly what he said. He goes, oh, how's that cocaine, huh? How's that cocaine? I guess I was chewing my gum hella fast, probably because I was nervous.
Shit,
I'm like, chomping on my gum. He's like, oh, yeah, coke you doing? I'm like, how the fuck? How does he know that I did cocaine before? Like, what's going on here, man?
Yeah.
It was fun, man. It was a good time. But
you're probably looking for it.
Oh, yeah, he's a good dude. I've talked to him a couple times just through messaging, whatever. Solid dude seems like, man, but it was a good set too. But never want to sit in the front row ever again, bro. I don't like that.
I know, I like in the back too.
Yeah, hang out back there.
Yeah, in the shadows for sure.
This is fun, guys. I appreciate you guys coming on. It's good times, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for having us, man. This is cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, we already did over an hour. It's almost an hour and 15 minutes, man. This is good stuff. Just shooting the shit. What do you guys think, man? You want to wrap this thing up or what?
Sure. Yeah, I could use
down,
man. A little sleep.
Yeah, I think that was a cool hang, guys. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Letting me know when this comes out. I'll retweet it to my and Facebook it and whatever else there is. Instagram it.
Yeah, we'll do all the things, man. Thank you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. I just want to say too, I appreciate you guys reaching out. And connecting. And how crazy is it that even that we're doing the podcast right now too, but like we just kind of linked up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Almost small world accident, but yeah, it's really, really freaking cool, man. So, any last words, you two, Mark, Dave, what do you guys think?
Well, maybe check out my website, markscomedy.com. If you want to see that Loch Ness Monster podcast, it's one of the tabs on there. I just created it. Yeah. And that's it. And, I don't know. Looking forward to seeing you around this week and some of the places that we might see you.
Me too, man.
Both of you guys.
Absolutely. I have absolutely nothing to promote. So It was cool hanging with you. And if any of you watching or listening know who I am, I'm on Instagram. You guys know where to find me. And that's about it. Oh, check out. Oh, you know what? Check out my Bernie album covers. That's what I got to promote right now.
Okay, perfect.
I just did a run of like 15 of them. They're fire, bro. They're fire. Check them
They're
out.
on your Instagram?
They're on my Instagram.
Okay, I want to check them out now.
What's the Instagram?
Oh, it's Rock Buddha 333, RCKBDHA 333
Cool.
on Instagram. Yeah, check it out.
Sweet.
All right.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll if you want to follow the podcast too, Telegram at That Sober Guy Podcast, it's on the website as well. And then, hey, if anyone wants to leave a voicemail for the show, please do go to thatsoberguy.com and click on the little voicemail thing there and leave a message. And man, we'll have some fun with it on the podcast coming up. I feel really good right now, man. And I just I love you guys. I want to thank you guys again, man. Like this is
Thank you.
This is great, man. Yeah. So talk to you guys soon, man.
Later, gentlemen. Appreciate it very much.
Later, guys. See you.
Peace.
See you. Later.